The 5 days warning strike called by organized labor continues in Kaduna State. The government, in a statement issued, has condemned the action of the unionists, describing it as unlawful and encouraging residents to stay calm. The government says actions undertaken by the NLC today include unlawful trespass on government facilities and attempts to prevent workers from signing attendance registers. The government adds that despite these actions, it has guaranteed access to the state secretariat and other government offices and intends to continue running its operations and service to the people. The reason for which it held its state executive council meeting today. Now, the Kaduna state government also maintains the conditions that compelled its its attempt rather to right-size, according to the government, its workforce have not been altered by the NLC's campaign of economic and social sabotage. In a statement signed by a special advisor to the governor, El-Rufai, on media and communication, it described the shutdown of hospital and primary health care by labor as a violation of the Miscellaneous Offences Act and the Trade Union Act, now documented by it against labor. Kaduna state government also stated clearly that in expending the state's resources, it will not place the interest of a few above the majority, or rather the interest of the majority. Well, special advisor to the Kaduna state governor on media and publicity, joins us live on TVC News at 10. It would appear that the Kaduna state government isn't backing down, even as NLC is making all of these demands. You are saying that this is what needs to be done at this time, but are you concerned about the number of people affected? The NLC seem to have put that to 7,000 as we speak.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. It is difficult to take the NLC seriously, since they constantly manufacture and throw about figures that please them. Look, but the reality for the people of Kaduna State is that the NLC has openly declared war and pain on the people of Kaduna State, shutting down their access to electricity, trying to shut down access to water, driving patients away from hospital. Workers are free to withdraw their services, but you are not free to lock up premises that don't belong to you. They have committed acts of severe violation of the Trade Union Act, Section 42, as amended. We do not think that what we are facing in Kaduna currently is an industrial action. No, we are confronted by a sustained campaign of economic and social sabotage. These are not people trying to defend the interests of workers. These are people trying to retard the progress of Kaduna State. We have the full measure of the NLC. You can see the NLC president luxuriating in his bombast that he has prevented our citizens from accessing healthcare. He is proud about that. We are not going to allow this kind of mob instinct to define policy.
But prior to what you're addressing now, Mr. Adikeye, is what NLC says that your government did not follow due process in laying off this staff, and they have made reference to certain section of the Nigeria's Labour Act that require the Kaduna state governor or government to have carried the NLC along in this development. Well,
the NLC has a reputation for not being able to even be truthful to its own personnel. Okay, this is a union that 2 years, almost 2 years since the President Buhari signed the new National Minimum Wage Act, it has been unable to implement it for its own staff in its secretariat and in its state offices. Okay, yet it is unable to acknowledge that this El-Rufai government that it likes to hate so much, as far back as September 2019, not only began to implement the new national minimum wage, but also effected constitutional adjustments of up to 66% for most categories of staff. The NLC has very, very, very little credibility in the Kaduna state government. We recall that in 2017, this same Ayuba Waba led a mob to Kaduna State in defense of the interests of 21,780 failed teachers. He was insisting that the children of Kaduna State do not deserve better than to be taught by people who cannot pass comfortably.
We cannot really substantiate the claims that you're making right now, Mr. Adekeye. But precisely, yes, I don't know how that answers. Just a minute. Yes. I don't know how that answers the question of following due process. Shouldn't the Kaduna State government have carried the unions?
That I am not here on this program to bandy words with an organization that is sorely lacking in credibility.
I'm not even talking about, just a minute, Mr. Adekeye. I'm not even talking about the NLC. I am making reference to the provisions of the Nigeria's Labour Act that require that your government should have informed the unions about the redundancy. Did that take place?
The Kaduna State government, through its head of service, has been relating to the unions. Ayuba Waba seems to take a special interest in Kaduna State. We have several states that have never attempted to pay minimum wage. In his books, those ones rate as per worker. It is the states that implemented it first in Nigeria that put up 66% consequential adjustment increase for most workers that it is labeling as anti-worker. Our head of service, our commissioner for local government have consistently engaged with unions relevant to Kaduna State, but it appears that someone from outside the state wants to dictate policy, wants to reduce the interest of the Kaduna State people to his own ego, and is violating provisions of Miscellaneous Offences Act, shutting down electricity access, and claiming that is violating the law. Okay.
Let's attempt to drive this home, Mr. Adekeye. What is the possibility of a truce between the state government and the labor union? Since you are so concerned, it appears you're concerned about the socio-economic shutdown of Kaduna State as we speak.
The route for everybody is to obey the law, stop unlawful trespass, stop violating the Trade Union Act, stop imposing restraints on the personal freedom of people, stop imposing coercion on those who want to work. If you want to do your own protest, do not attempt to lock up offices that do not belong to you. The rule of law, okay, is not twisted by bombast and histrionics. It's about compliance across the board. The Kaduna State government says that it is yet to determine precisely how many workers will be affected by this right-sizing exercise. In Subed, just a few days ago, more than 500 staff of Subed were able to verify their credentials. This is an ongoing process to ensure that justice is done to every staff. We do not condone this persistent interest of Ayuba Waba, okay, in inflicting pain on the people of Kaduna State. If you have an issue,
that's how much we can take. Mr. Muyiwa Adekeye, special advisor to the Kaduna State Governor on Media and Communication. I must say a big thank you to you for joining us on the news. Let's tell